you want me to take over?
No, I want to make it. Okay. So we're going to start the try not to laugh challenge, okay? Y'all are in this with me. You got to post if you laugh, okay? I won't look at chat until a little bit. I gotta get over this one first, okay? God, this is like the worst angsty fan fiction ever. What?
Hi, everyone. So we're going to end stream today on this article because it is just a banger. And by that, I mean awful. So this came across the desk of yours truly, and I had to share it with everyone because they had to suffer along with me. I thought my boyfriend of 10 years was going to propose. Then he told me he was trans. One Karen's story coming forward with courage. Sorry. It sounds like a fucking, God, what was that channel? Lifetime original.
Oh, yeah.
I consider myself an LGBTQ plus ally. We'll see about that. But I was not prepared for the shock and confusion I'd feel when the person I thought I'd spend my life with told me their secret. It was 3 a.m. and I had a lot to drink. 2 reasons why I'm pressing my boyfriend of 10 years on why he hadn't proposed yet. Never do this to people.
This just sounds like a bad. This is just like a bad.
This just sounds abusive at the
like
get-go.
A bad idea in the first place.
Why haven't you proposed yet? I don't want to now. So we were. I proposed like 4 months into my relationship with Zena. Get good. We were strong and happy and loved each other madly, so his reticence seemed ludicrous to me when sober, let alone drunk. I suspected it was my ceaseless questioning that ultimately blew a fuse in his brain, because that's when he told me his secret. When I woke up, he was gone. I watched his WhatsApp status like it was the hot heart monitor on an ailing relative. The second I saw online, I called and asked him to come home. To talk. To answer the question that I'd scribbled illegibly on a half-folded piece of A4 paper. He walked through the door and sat down, his face masked with fear. What were you trying to tell me? I asked, hopefully, all too aware of how different things can look when alcohol is no longer shaping your every thought. I have gender issues, he blurted. Again, notice the misgendering. Like, Can we talk about the use of he excessively here? Like, bitch, this is not a he. All right. Eyes fixed to the floor. I just don't identify with being male, he said. I just don't identify with being male, he said. Oh,
this is great.
My throat thickened. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I knew this person better than anyone in the world. Apparently not. But could in no way reconcile him with the words coming out of his mouth. Well, what do you identify with? I pleaded, panicking. I don't know, like non-binary or... Oh my God. Was he about to tell me he was about to say trans? The word flooded my body with surreal disbelief.
Non-binary is trans.
True.
Sorry.
Maybe you're one of those non-binary. They're only part trans. All their strengths, none of their weaknesses, except for the thirst. Anyway. I was already sure, cold, empathetic, that this was done. We were done. But why? He implored. Because I don't want to be with a woman. It was a surprise to me how obvious this fact was, because everything else was suddenly underwater. But I don't know how far it will go yet, he said. I don't know anything yet, except that our relationship is more important than my gender. Oh, you sweet summer child. Oh, you sweet summer child. This was codependency. You let the cis beat you down. Why? No, it's a no. My questions were redundant, Their purpose was to establish where we go from here. But in the private theater of my mind, the curtains closed at every turn. Soon, my sister was outside. I tried articulating why I asked her to collect me and why I had a suitcase. She knew something was wrong, of course, but she had no idea the magnitude. He thinks he might be... I couldn't get it out of my mouth. What are you saying, Phoebes? He thinks he might be trans. Oh my fucking god. He might be trans. Oh, sorry. We stood on the dark street, cobbles glossed with rain, and wept. Oh, by the way, the fact that it mentions cobbles is super important. This is The Guardian. This bitch has to be British. No one has named their kid Phoebe since, like, Friends was on. Full stop. Her tears soaked my shoulder and mine hers. We drove back to hers. I sat in silence, numb, watching the rain blur the brake lights in front of me while she continued to sob. For me, for him, and I guess for the future brother-in-law she just lost.
He didn't... I guess this person died? Is that what they're thinking?
So I guess I'll just die?
like, what do they think happened?
This is my first fanfic, so don't criticize me levels of prose. Yep, I'm going to keep reading it like this. I'm going to read this thing because I need you guys to understand just how fucking irritating this is. For a week in January, she held my hand every night while I stared at the ceiling, watching her alarm clock announce the time in glaring sequence of oblong. 12:10 a.m., 2:36 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 5:05 a.m., 6:16 a.m. The second 7 a.m. hit. I got in the shower just so I could cry in peace. Oh my God. My new therapist was a large woman with a kind face whose accent I couldn't decipher. She worked from a light-flooded conservatory, which seemed sensible given the dark and endless trauma she mined from people's lives. I spilled... This is fucking 50 Shades of Grey.
Are we not reading fanfic? Like, this reads like fanfic. I didn't know this was fanfic.
Guys, you haven't even heard it yet. I gotta keep going. I have to keep going. This is important to me.
Let me know if you want me to help read, okay?
Okay, but it has to be in this dramatic tone.
It will.
I spilled the story chaotically. He was so sympathetic when I was on my period. I yelped. He would practically sprint to the shop to buy me ibuprofen and tampons. Is that because he wished he was having a period? Her response was assuringly rational. If he was jealous of you, it would have manifested as anger, not kindness. He was kind to you because he loved you. Duh! And he didn't like seeing you in pain. I realize now how I was focused on the trivial in order to avoid the stark truth that the person around whom my world revolved was disappearing, and I was just stuck here waiting for them to go.
That's what you got from that?
Yeah, that's what you took from that? Not that this person still loves you and that you could work through it? Moving on. At once, gender was all around me, screaming in my face, forms asking me if I was male, female, or whether I prefer not to say. How many times had he dared himself to tick something other than male? Every time I used a public loo, this is definitely British, immediately this person is like, what, subhuman? I'm sorry. Sorry, social psych explainer, I apologize.
Don't be mean, god damn it.
Oh no, I was actually thinking of a different person. I was thinking of, who is it that's British? I think it's psychosocialism. That's who's British. I'm sorry. Oh
no. Oh, don't.
Minion, you're British too.
Nice.
Okay, we love you guys, but I don't claim them. Let's continue.
Oh no.
Every time I used a public loo, I wondered if he wanted to use the women's. When Robergoff was making history as the first transgender woman on the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine, had he bought a copy? What the fuck are you overthinking this hard? The trans flag emoji appeared every time I typed the word trans on WhatsApp, 142 times a day. It was at... I'm not done yet. It was at once the most shocking and casual thing in my life. I surveyed women everywhere, as if fifth person might be trans. Then there were the subtle, bordering on comical triggers at every turn. The trans by the JanSport branded backpack on the train. Wait, is that the same one that Contra saw on the train that stopped her from transitioning? Why is it every someone with a backpack? Anyway, and an article titled "Time to Transition" about city folk fleeing London for somewhere leafy. It was inescapable. The word transition means other things too, dear. On the political stage, the UK government was being rightly condemned for failing to ban conversion practices for trans people. In Ukraine, many of them were denied safe passage at the border, while the US protesters were rallying against conservative anti-trans bills. It was a time of global reckoning, and a long overdue one at that, but selfishly I yearned for some respite. God, she looks exactly how I thought she would. Anyway, do you want to take over for a bit?
Sure.
Please be as friendly and good faith as you can be.
I'm reading fanfic. That's all this is. This is fanfic.
The author transitioned from being a loving partner to a dumbass.
Are they having like their own gender crisis? Like,
I just needed respite from you getting trans rights.
Well, they're having their own like transition crisis where like everything transition word related is the issue. Like, what are we doing?
Oh no, that glass is transparent. All right, kisses, go.
Packing up my stuff, we vacillated between sorrow that our relationship was over and hope that we'd never let each other go. Not platonically, anyway. When I stayed over, we clambered into bed early, head to head, our legs entangled, his skin warming mine. I could usually read him as easily as the top line of an optician's chart, but now I wasn't so sure. His angled face seemed soft, the ridge of his brow less pronounced, his skin free from stubble. In the morning, there came a point where we both knew that we were going to kiss, and then we had sex.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Trans girl, you took an L. Continue.
I thought you'd still love me, but I didn't think you'd be able to see me like that again, he messaged. I felt helpless, sensing the abject hope between the lines. And so, for us, I tried. In a way that I suspect any self-respecting liberal would do. I sought out an article that listed everything gender progressive that Harry Styles had ever said. It's like anything. Anytime you're putting barriers up in your own life, you're just limiting yourself. There's so much joy to be had in playing with clothes, he told Vogue. By the time I'd mentally reduced the situation to an ideal of androgynous dressing, forsaking our bond suddenly seemed like madness. This is 2022. Love is love, and if Harry Styles says it's okay, then it's fucking K. I didn't fall in love with a trans woman. I fell in love with a person who happens to feel like their body is a burden, who just wants to be a little more femme. But reality soon careered into view. If I was going to be a beautiful woman, I'd have had to transition when I was a teenager. Now I'm scared I'm going to be ugly, he confided, contemplating the ravages of puberty and testosterone. He mentioned hormones with earth-shattering nonchalance, saying he'd wait a year to see how he felt about the superficial stuff, clothes, piercings, hair, then make a decision. I read that estrogen can make a man infertile in as little as 6 months. 6 months! I had desperately wanted his child, though the impulse was quickly supplanted by a surge of uninspired rage. If I can't have his baby, then no one should be able to. And so I silently willed him to start taking the hormones as soon as medical sign-off would allow a biting form of closure.
Real quick, I love what chat said. The author just has a breeding kink and is mad that her idea for her kink cannot be fulfilled.
I am literally reading fanfic.
I have never heard a woman say that I wanted to have his baby in the last 20 years. This is unironically a breeding kink. Continue.
God, I'm reading fanfic. This is the only other place I read shit like this.
This is why I had to have us read this. We had to read this in a dramatic reading. Go.
Right? Man, this was confusing. The devastating, handsome boy I met on the first night of university, whom I'd grown up with, and built a home and a life with, who was by my side when my dad was sick, who ran me baths and made me ramen, and with whom I shared an ocean of hopes and dreams could or would no longer be mine.
Pause. I gotta say this real quick. First off, you can store a sperm in a fucking sperm bank. Shut the fuck up. You have NHS. It's not that deep. Second off, that sweater is hideous. Third off, you look exactly what I thought you would look like. 4, if this person, like, yeah, first off, they sound fucking dreamy. Like, this non-binary person, they were like, would run you baths, held your hand when your dad was sick. They did so much for me, but didn't think about how their gender identity would affect me. What about me, Daddy? What about me? God damn, she's like Veruca Salt.
Just get knocked up before transitioning.
Yeah, just have her/them just bang you now. Like, if you really want the baby, like, why is there such a focus on, like, why are cis people this dumb? Anyway, moving on.
For the bad egg treatment, since she was bad to an egg.
That's true. She was bad. Netspace, that joke was amazing.
I didn't know that this was going to turn into a session of reading bad fan fiction. I really didn't know that's what I was doing today, but
you're welcome, love.
This is helping out.
This is helping. All right, so do you want me to take back over, or you got it?
I feel pretty good reading if you're okay with that.
Yeah, just say, go.
All right. And now what? I felt vastly exposed. I was doing everything differently, sheepishly, whether ordering coffee at the place I always had, or re-registering with the same estate agents who'd shown us around family homes. Meanwhile, it felt like he was on a rocket ship to the moon. Try shitting. Try
shitting. The try shitting challenge, guys. Oh.
Hey, Raw, I know shitting was completely different for her too, okay?
All right, go.
Try sitting at home with only antidepressants for company.
Do you want me to take over?
No, I want to make it. Okay. So we're going to start the try not to laugh challenge, okay? Y'all are in this with me. You got to post if you laugh, okay? I won't look at chat until a little bit. I gotta get over this one first, okay? God, this is like the worst angsty fan fiction ever. What?
You have an absolute amazing partner. What the hell are you doing? Okay. Don't look at chat.
No, it's still this line that gets me. All right. Try sitting at home with only antidepressants for company while your ex is at a dinner party with your best friends, extolling the virtues of full coverage foundation. Then try hearing that the male contingent put makeup on too. And not only that, but that they skipped down to the nail salon with him the next day. Blue. He got blue nails. Plus a set of new they-them pronouns. I hadn't quite anticipated the fanfare. Of course, these vignettes weren't the whole picture. There was their inevitable suffering behind the scenes, and truly, I wanted nothing more than for them to feel safe and supported. But watching those closest to me celebrate the erosion of the person I loved was crushing. I knew my ex's pain had roots far deeper and more gnarly than mine, but anger began to bubble. It transpired. They'd had a near identical conversation to the one we'd had that fateful night with a mutual friend months previously, and that they'd been engaging with trans social media accounts for almost a year. Seeing a fire emoji, merely a sign of solidarity, left on a trans woman's Instagram from June 2021, scorched a hole in my heart. I was mad at those who professed to get it, because they too had been through a breakup. I have dived into a swimming pool, but that does not make me Tom Daly. I knew it came from a good place, but please, no. It's absolutely not the same. I don't want to deny anyone their own suffering, And I know that there's commonality in the heartbreak and the loss, but not the shame, not the guilt, or the incredulity. And so I reached out to a support group called SPA, Straight Partners Anonymous. You've come to the right place, they told me. We have a growing number of trans widows who will very much identify with your difficult situation and the issues it raises. I wasn't all that keen on my new label, I'll be honest, but I agreed to meet someone else in possession of it regardless. Then the reversing beep of regret, because as it happened, she and her partner had decided to stay together. And I felt ashamed all over again because I couldn't do that.
All right, hold on. I gotta see how much is left. We're doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Right
I can do this. I can do it. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Are
you sure? Okay.
Oh yeah, I can do it.
Okay. I can jump in anytime.
I mean, are you asking to? Because I'm having fun.
Give me a paragraph. It's fine.
All right. Take a paragraph.
We'll go every other from here on out.
All right.
It didn't stop me from trying to understand. I owed it to myself and, of course, to them. I went on TikTok and I was duly transfixed, aware that it had been instrumental in helping them to arrange and affirm their feelings. I listened to podcasts and read interviews, blogs, and books. I followed activists, influencers, and educational accounts, all of which vindicated me in my decision to split. Repression, the very thing that I needed to make things tenable, is no basis for any relationship. You could have also gotten therapy. And it's certainly not the action to ask of someone who has been practicing it for years already, but you didn't need to do that. They needed to be able to wear pink suits and perform in platforms in peace, to go by the new name that was floated gingerly and soon after voiced in abundance, to throw off the shackles of the former and flourish in the new, so that when their ex calls to say that they might like to write about the situation, they feel comfortable and confident enough to give their blessing. It goes without saying that this piece wouldn't have happened without their consent.
Before learning their secret, I'd shared infographics on trans rights and toasted the cause at Pride. But it was only the L, the G, and the B that I'd been familiar with. The T and the Q, however, is where I became shamefully unstuck, not least because, prior to this experience, I knew precisely zero non-binary or trans people. We 20 and 30-somethings are sandwiched between two ideological and societal opposed generations. My dad, liberal, lovely, but resolutely a Yorkshireman, knows as much about gender dysphoria and all its nuances as I do about the stock market. Then there's Gen Z, who are seemingly born as blanks, encouraged to color and contour themselves as they please. No labels, judgment, or questions asked.
Based. I, on the other hand, was bombarded with inquiries after the "I'm so sorry" refrain came. Were there any signs? It danced in people's eyes and pirouetted off their tongues before they even know they're going to ask. And when they do, they cock their head and make a pained expression to acknowledge that they perhaps shouldn't have asked something so personal, given that we're only ever shared small talk. They're itching for the full story, the movie cliche that one day I came home early, unannounced, and found them in a dress, tottering around in my heels, cheeks awash with clownish blush. I get it. Do you? Ew. But I also get that they really do not. That this is not the reality. It is not ours, nor is it that of so many others. I was not asleep at the wheel. My underwear never went AWOL, and my concealer never met his under eye. Despite my gentle suggestion, sometimes that they might get on, there were no signs. Go ahead.
Talking was a tonic while writing, accompanied by an actual gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, gin.
Yeah, sorry.
You said gin.
Okay, I don't correct you.
You do all the time.
I haven't corrected you when you mess up words really badly that change the whole sentence so far.
Go.
I have a little bit of mucus in my throat because I was just having some soy milk. Okay, let me try this again. Thank you. Talking was a tonic while writing, accompanied by an actual gin and tonic. Made the unbearable bearable. I leaned on the philosophy of amor fati, which means to love one's fate. It liberated me, in part, from exhausting heartache and existential dread, providing hope that sooner rather than later I would look back and think that my life was never supposed to be any other way. That one day I'd be happy again. I am. That one day I'd fall in love again. I have. And that this gargantuan thing had no business manipulating my memories and messing with this most formative and joyous decade of my life. It helped a lot. As did a magic mushroom trip, since you ask.
7 months on, I am proud of my ex for having the courage to utter the words and the conviction to follow them through, crop tops and all. There are many things they will never understand about my experience, but there are far more I will never understand about theirs. The image of them at the dinner party that night, high on the fumes of their own authentic self, no longer sucks the breath away from my lungs. And now I am confident that in the not too distant future, we will sit at a table together and reminisce about our imperfect, profuse, and untamed love, and raise a glass to the fact that we've never been happier. I want to die inside. Oh my God, where do we even fucking start?
No one asked about him. I want to hear about the magic mushroom trip. That's fanfic part 2.
She looks like a kindergarten teacher. Like, but not in the good way. Okay, sorry, I had to come after her. She's like about a 5, I don't know. Anyway, so
this reads like inspiration porn.
God, I just wish it could have been like ABO, in which case, like, then it would have at least had something fun. Like, here's my thing. Like, guys, understand this. This is cis people. Like, can we talk about how cis people take and co-opt like queer
cis
shit?
People, okay. Like, I this is not everyone.
No, stop.
I want to be really clear though.
Stop. Let me finish my sentence.
All right.
We have people on Twitter giving shit about Jon Stewart coming out swinging on behalf of trans rights, and then we have this chick going through and basically being like, I endured this. Aren't I a great ally? Look how much this affected me. This is the difference between a good cis ally and a bad cis ally. Good cis ally, coming out swinging. Bad cis ally, makes it about them.
Bare minimum.
Good cis ally, puts in actual effort. Bad cis ally, bare fucking minimum, as Zena said. This is the difference. This woman's idea of being an ally is, I didn't vomit. like I feel bad for this. Like, I don't believe in Stockholm syndrome. It's actually quite questionable as whether it exists. I know that the fanfic exists that Lily Orchard wrote that she claims she didn't, but that's different. That's not the Stockholm syndrome I'm talking about. The Stockholm syndrome I'm talking about is, you know if you know. The Stockholm syndrome I'm talking about, this idea that this poor trans person, this they, them, their experience, like, how often did they eat crow for this bitch? Like, how many times? Like, our relationship is more important than the gender. Oh, you sweet summer child. No. 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 It's a no. It's a no. No.
She's an ally to herself and herself only.
But, like, her partner, like, went out of their way to make her as comfortable as possible. And she was like, I can't get over it. I don't want to be with a woman. You're not. You're being with someone non-binary. Like, they might be femme-presenting, but why are you more attached to their previous... Why are you more attached to their gender than they seem to be? And what's with all the misgendering? You stopped misgendering two-thirds through. How can you type this line? Where is it? Where is the they, them? Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, it's way far at the end. Way to get like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
Them to get the new they them pronouns in the story.
He got blue nails. I'm so sorry for misgendering you. He got blue nails plus a new set of they them pronouns.
What?
First off, the talking about pronouns in that way smacks of conservatism. If you think you're a liberal, you're not. Second off, the idea that like this person realized that the they them pronouns were like, yeah, I'm heading to the pronoun store. You want anything? Sage, based and true. Yeah, I would like the they them pronouns to represent my made up demon self. There we go. If you love them, why not stay with them? I have an example of this. Actually, in one of the cities nearby, someone told me about someone in the queer community. I've told the story before on stream, but essentially it's about a trans woman that came out and her wife was basically like, no, I'm staying. I love my partner. And they were like, well, doesn't that make you bisexual? Because you like men and women. She's like, I don't like women. I like my partner. So when we made jokes about Zena being like a just sexual, that's actually a leftover joke from when I was male presenting. Because it was literally like women and Jess. And so very similar to this woman like stayed with her wife.
Joke, by the way. Jess made that joke, not me.
Yeah, neopronouns are just purchased at the gender lows since it's DIY.
Yeah, there's a couple in Gender Revolution by Katie Couric at the end that she's interviewing. And yeah, they're a very old couple. And the woman's like, it really doesn't change my sexual orientation. Like, I know what I'm attracted to, but my partner, this is still my partner. I still love this person. I've been with this person for decades. I love her. We're staying together. Like, that's it. And, like, that's how that goes. And she's like, yeah, some things change and some things are different, but this is still, like, the person that I fell in love with for so long.
I mean, I wanted to point out the framing here, though. Like, the difference between what Zena's saying versus, like, this lady's thing where it's like, they were eroding. Like, how much fucking flowery language do you have to say that they died?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Like, again, I get it if you're really not down for it, but, like, you can handle it so much better. This is just trash. This is trash. And we had to read it to you guys because it's so bad. It's so bad. This is my immortal hold my beer. True.
What died was her idealization.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, and her breeding kink.
Mm-hmm.
She just really wanted to be cream pied forever. Just... I mean, girl, you can still be cream pied. You're just... Same. Sage, stop at you. Yeah, they could have still been cream pied. It just might not have, like, it might have been shooting blanks. It's fine.
There are a lot of things that sex toys can do.
I'm just saying, there's partners I want to breed, but the fact of the matter is like, is anything going to happen? No. Is that going to come into the kink? You're damn right it is. But again, they can buy cream pies at the store, the grocery store. Yeah, you can buy cream pies at the gender store. I believe they're one of the things you can buy on the side aisles. I'm pretending they're dying. This whole thing reads as her like being overly dramatic about like somebody changing pants. Like I'm just, I got shit on Twitter for this too because I was like, this is stupid, and people were like, you have no empathy. I'm like, this is a very easy way for you to say that you don't have empathy for the trans person. You just care about what the cis white lady's saying. Yeah, in the arms of in the arms of an angel, but for like cis white ladies who are Karens in their relationship.
Well, and I love that she was so angry in the middle here, where like the other person she was relating to at like the support group was like still staying with her partner.
Oh, I love that she was shamed by that. Oh, please be shamed. Oh, I love that so hard. The group's name is stupid, but seriously.
Just, I get when there are cases where like gender shifting and some other fundamental, have potentially kind of fundamentally changed the relationship. Like, I get that can happen. But, like, seriously, like, you gotta handle your own shit. Like, this is not... Goddamn.
Oh, if you guys ever find other articles you want us to do dramatic readings on, please feel free to send them to transgirltherapist@gmail.com gmail.com. It's not so slash. I'm fucking stupid. All right. Well, folks, we can only rag on this so much. Yeah, the straight person, yeah, spa. Anyway, With that said, folks, I think we're good on this.
I hope you enjoyed our dramatic reading.
See you later. Cut the segment. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider donating to us. You can support us on our website, transgirltherapist.org. You can also help us on our Patreon, link below, or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.